Hi, welcome back to another video. I'm Miranda, and today I just want to read. These are some of the books I'm hoping to get to. For book club, I am reading The Serpent and the Wolf, and we meet next week. I don't know much about it other than it's a romantasy. I hope it's good. Sometimes they're hit or miss. And then on audio, from Libby, I have a copy of Sorcery in Small Magics. Okay. I think I'm ready. Here we go. Okay, so I'm about 40 pages into this book, and I'm liking it so far. I moved into my bedroom because everybody is home, and it's distracting. Okay. We have Vasilisa, and she has married the foreman of another nation, and he's like in line to become the next leader, and he's known to be vicious and brutal. And they call him the Wolf of Mirah. I think that's how you say it, Mireh. And so on her wedding night, she ties him up, and she, gets him thinking they're gonna consummate their marriage. And one thing I like is that she's like his clean shaven jawline, whatever, right? And then she's like, secretly she wishes that he had more stubble. And I'm like, girl, same. Like, clean shaven, not my thing. I want my man to have some ruggedness for sure. So anyway, she runs away on her wedding night to another area where she studies to become an acolyte. She's not really going to study to be an acolyte. She wants to learn more about her magic that is uncontrollable. Where she's from, they don't have magic. So she doesn't really know what is going on, and she saw it kill before, and so she's worried. She knows that it's going to kill her if she doesn't figure it out. And so after 3 months, Reed, that's her husband, comes and finds her and offers her a compromise where he helps her with her magic and introduces her to someone he knows that can control their magic, because he tells her that that magic comes from where he grew up. But in exchange, she has to be like the doting wife in public. And so it kind of gives me like fake dating vibes, even though they're married, right? And she's like, what if I leave anyway? Or what if I just say no? Can I just leave? And he's like, I will never make you do anything you don't want to do. And she's like, well, you made me marry you. And he's like, I didn't know you didn't want to do that. And at first I'm like, oh, that's so cute. And then I'm like, no, it's not really a good excuse to not know that she didn't want to marry. He should have like made sure and had some conversation with her. I know that's like a new age me thinking, but still, he seems like a pretty smart man. Why wouldn't he get consent from her? He just didn't want to. Anyways, so then right before they're getting ready to leave to go back to his place, there's a part that I really loved. Hold on a second, I gotta find it. So she's like getting ready, and she like puts all these knives attached to her, and then it goes, surprise and admittedly respect welled in her. She hadn't even felt him still them. Oh, let me back up. It says the door swings open and Reed winked, taking the 2 blades that she'd secured around her thighs from his own arsenal in his belt. Surprise and admittedly respect welled in her. She hadn't even felt him still them. Dipping to his knees in front of her, he wrapped his hands around her thigh, fingers pressed to the golden buckles on the leather strap. Her heart started to pound. I told you. I told you, you underestimate just how much I enjoy a good game of blades. He slid the knives back into their holster, hands consciously holding steady against her breeches. They wrapped to the back of her thighs. I have missed you, wife, he murmured. Just in time for her to see the 2 sages and a small group of acolytes, all with jaws dropped at the sight of the foreman of Murat and his apparent consort. And then she goes, with a wicked grin. Vasa ran her hand over his cheek and then dipped to the underside of his jaw, the pad of her finger scraping against the bump of his scar, the one she had given him. Take me home, she says. His eyes may have shuddered at the audacity of her words, to claim his home as hers in mockery, but she didn't care an ounce for his feelings or sensitivities. A game of blades he asked for, and a game of blades he would receive. So I do love this like banter back and forth, the wit against wit, that I'm thoroughly enjoying. So I am now on chapter 5, page 40. It's early, and I hope it keeps up with this energy and gets maybe just a little more intense. We're still so early, so I will let you know in the next check-in. All right, so it is late. I think I'm going to go to bed soon. And I just wanted to update you all. I didn't get close to finishing The Serpent and the Wolf. I'm on page 116, and that's okay. I should be able to finish it tomorrow, hopefully. But there are a couple of things a couple quotes I wanted to share that I really like. So something that's happening right now, and I'm not going to totally tell you all what's happening, but she is so angry, and at first it kind of isn't like, you don't fully understand, you kind of suspect, but she has a group of people that she's starting to really feel comfortable around, and that it's such a beautiful thing to have people who understand you, who you feel like you don't have to hide. And it kind of made me cry. It did make me cry. But one thing is she got to pick a journal, and they have a shelf of journals, and they were like, trust your intuition and pick the one that calls to you. And it's so funny because at first she just grabbed whichever one, and they were like, no, just take your time. And so then when they came back to check on her, she had picked 12. And it was so cute because she was like, there's just no way. How can I pick one? But I just thought it was so funny because I too love my journals. And I think there's a something back here. Oh, it says, before she has to pick, it says, pick one you love. For if you don't love it, it will mean nothing to you, and it must mean something to you. And she says, do notebooks have to mean something to us? And then they say, they do, otherwise we will not use them. I will be back in an hour. Which is so funny because I have journals that I love, but I don't use them because I love them. They're too pretty. So they just sit in my collection of notebooks. Are you all like that? Do you like to collect notebooks just for the sake of having them? And then the other quote I wanted to share, this is the part that really made me cry because Vasa, as I mentioned before, she holds so much anger. And maybe you are familiar with just pushing your emotions down because a lot of times they aren't useful. They don't help a situation. They are just going to get in the way. So for me, I just push them aside and keep doing what I need to do and try not to acknowledge them because it's a waste of time. But many of you may know that that's not helpful because your emotions will be heard at some point and it's going to be inconvenient. This found family that she's starting to begin is so supportive and encouraging for her to just feel her emotions. I was going to read it, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody. And I felt it was just a beautiful moment. So yeah, I will just say page 95. It's really, maybe it's not going to be special to you, but it hit me hard today anyway. So where I am right now, she is doing her best to be a dutiful wife and hold her part of this agreement with her husband, and he did by connecting her with some of the magic wielders. And I really like it so far. I think it's at 116 we don't see, like, the love match is not something yet. So I do appreciate that they don't just certainly like all of a sudden fall in love. I'm okay with those stories, but I really appreciate this is really just about her and her learning her magic and her emotions and the world that she's now in with her husband, and trying to figure out what is it that she wants from her life. And so much of her life has been dictated by the people in power, and now she doesn't have to necessarily be that person up to this point. Who knows what's going to happen next? So I really hope it keeps going this way because I'm enjoying this so much so far. We still have a lot to go. I'm probably going to fall asleep at some point. So I'm going to leave you here and I will see you in the morning. Okay, good morning, everyone. I have my coffee. my Tinkerbell cup. It's my favorite. It's a perfect size for coffee. And I have my book. I didn't get too much further in. I'm on 122 and I'm liking it so far. Later on, I am probably going to switch over to my audiobook and play some Disney Dreamlight because we have a new update and I'm desperate to get the house at the final end. And I probably will wrap some presents, so you'll probably see all of that soon. Okay, so I just finished The Serpent and the Wolf, and it was perfect. Well, I will say I'll give it a 4.5 stars. It had slow burn. I loved the way that the two main characters got to know each other, how they started to respect each other, and Vasa, our main character, is slowly learning to let down her guard, and she's learning that she doesn't have to hold everything in all the time. She can start to trust people, and that's what she does. She starts to care about people. And there's a crazy ending. I loved it. I cannot wait to read the next one. Okay, so there's that one. And then I started the audiobook for Sorcery and Small Magic, and I'm not very far. I'm like 22%. If you can hear my laundry, I apologize. Anyway, I'm 22%, and there's Leo and Sebastian. So Leo is a scribe for magic, so he writes the magic spells, but for some reason every time he writes magic spells something goes wrong, so he really tries to only do like simple things like teeth whitening spells or a spell to change your eye color, and he's paired up with Sebastian, who is the caster, and they hate each other, but really there's a ton of angst. I definitely think they kind of like each other. And Sebastian ends up reading one of the spells that Leo supposedly wrote, and the spell actually makes it to where Leo has to do everything Sebastian tells him, and now he's like compelled to be near him, conveniently, right? So I haven't gotten too much into the plot. We don't know, because Leo's like, I would never write a spell like that. That's very complicated, but we don't know how this happened, right? How did this get mixed up? So I'm interested to see how this unfolds. So this next section is going to bring all the cozy vibes. So you'll see me rapping, and then I am going to mostly listen to my audiobooks and do some crossword and these really cute sticker by numbers. I got them for my birthday last year, and they're just so much fun. I love doing these types of activities while listening to my audiobooks. So I am wrapping presents for my niece. We're going to her birthday. In this video, it's going to be tomorrow. I know I really enjoy wrap with me videos, so I thought I would put this clip in here. We did get them from Amazon. I will link them below. I do have my feelings about Amazon, so if I can find the links from a different store, I'll link those too. I was so excited I found the word hobby. It was so fitting for this video. wanted to come in and update you about the books I read and in this reading vlog. So the first book that I read was The Serpent and the Wolf, and I had already told you I love this book. I gave it 4 stars. There's nothing really wrong with it. It just didn't feel like a 5-star read. But I think that this series could potentially be a 5-star series depending on how book 2 turns out. The ending was amazing, and I loved the characters and the found family. There was just like something that didn't hit the mark, but I'm like almost there with like loving these characters. And I think that book 2 can really do it. I think maybe it was just that it was just a slow burn. We're getting to know all of the characters slowly, and that is totally fine. I loved it, and as I said, it was great. I'm looking forward to the next one. And then I picked up on audio Sorcery and Small Magics. And this one, I said before, is about a curse or a spell gone wrong. And the 2 main characters team up to try to figure out how to break this curse. And it was fine. It was okay. I'm glad I had it on audio. I think I might have put it down if I was reading it physically because it was a little bit too slow for me. And did touch a little bit about like economic status and why people like work harder in school, like this is magic school, but than other people, because some people have more to prove versus like other people who just kind of have things handed to them. It was okay. I think it would make a really good like mini series, even like a manga maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it was good. It was a solid 3-star. And then I'm a little more than halfway through, about 60% through Immortal Dark. So I have this one also on Libby for my audio, and it's going to need to be returned soon. So I thought I'd pick this one up, and I really like this one so far. The main character is angry, and she should be. Her sister has potentially been murdered, maybe kidnapped by this society of vampires, and she enters this school and is in line to inherit this estate, this home, if she goes through these trials. That's a long thing, but she has to be paired up with a vampire, but she thinks that vampire is actually responsible for her sister's murder. So she's been like investigating him. I think that some things are a little bit predictable, but that's really okay for me. I guess I could straighten you out a little bit. Because this is a YA book, so I'm okay with it the way that it's unfolding. I think that young Miranda would have devoured this book, and as it stands, nowadays Miranda is enjoying it quite a lot. If it continues with this pace and unfolding of plot lines, I will like it good enough. And I will pick up the second one. So I know I've seen like mixed reviews on this story, and right now I think it delivers what is to be expected for the age range. So yeah. So that is all for this reading vlog. Let me know, what did you read this week? What are you interested in reading? Have you read any of these? If not, do any of them sound interesting? Put it all down below. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.